It was more of a fill-in. My husband and I, we owned our chicken ranch in California. And so when we moved out here, I ran all of the internal office stuff. He did all of the on the farm stuff. But when we moved here, that slowed down. And then got into residential real estate after that. And 2020, I was in residential real estate where it got like absolutely crazy, where, we didn't even have to try to sell stuff. People were just
Mhm.
flocking to us.
Yeah.
And then Ryan and I, my husband and I, we were looking for a business to buy at the time. And then we ended up buying the business brokerage that sold businesses instead of buying a business from the brokerage.
And you guys are so good at it. I mean, yeah.
Thanks.
Welcome back to Practical and Positive Leadership. I'm Monica May-Dunn, the CEO of Arizona Escrow and Financial Corporation. Each month, we bring you actionable insights from leaders who've been right where you are. Before we dive in, don't forget to follow, like, and check out our past episodes for can't miss leadership insights from top professionals. Our guest today, Jennifer Armstrong, is the owner of Transworld Business Advisors of Phoenix and is also a business broker. Jen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Monica. Super excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. I actually really enjoy the chance to talk to you a little bit about work, but not in the day-to-day office environment. So it's kind of exciting. Thank you.
I feel the same way. Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do at Transworld Business Advisors?
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, Transworld Business Advisors, I'm one of the co-owners. My husband and I, we run our practice together. Together with our team of agents, we help business owners understand the value of their business that they built, and we guide them through the process of selling their business. We actually work with business owners at all stages. Some are actively ready to sell, and others are just starting to think about what an exit might look like down the road. So a big part of what we do is education, planning, and making what feels like a super complex process more manageable.
That's fantastic. And every business owner needs that at one point or another.
Yeah.
What are the most effective ways small businesses can increase their value before they list their business for sale?
This is actually one of the main questions we get all the time because they want to know, what can I do to make the value be the best? So
Right.
the biggest driver of value is actually reducing the risk for the buyer. So I know that sounds kind of big and broad, but think of it this way. We want to start with clean financials, we want to talk about the consistent revenue, and we really want to talk about a business that can operate without the owner being involved every single day.
Right.
So what buyers are really looking for is that confidence, that clear, organized business. So that's what actually impacts the value the most.
So when the buyer can see all those things that they've been, good records, good clean books, yeah, it's an advantage for that seller because the buyer can see that everything is where it needs to be. So yeah, I agree with that. You've mentioned helping business owners exit on their own terms. What does that look like?
We really like to have a plan, but we also want to make sure that it is instead of a reaction to outside pressures, it's what the business owner is looking to do. So we really want to talk about, some business owners might be looking for top dollar. Some business owners might want to protect the employees and kind of their legacy that they've built. And some others really would actually rather stay involved post transaction. So our role is to kind of understand what the goals are of the seller and help support that with an exit. So finding the right buyer is super, super important. So it's not just about the transaction, it's more about what fits for the owner's goals in
Right.
the future.
And I think it's to the advantage of the buyer to have the seller stay on for a certain amount of time because there's always going to be questions, always things that maybe you didn't cover. It is their legacy as well that they're selling.
It's
So
it's what they built, right? It's like who it's the architect that built the home, the home builder, right? The person that swung the hammer and they know
yeah,
where all the things are. They know how the business was built. And so yes, to have that expertise is is
yeah.
is big.
How do you get through like some of the roadblocks that people face when it comes to getting transaction to the finish line or to closing?
Roadblocks. It's so funny you mentioned that. I kind of think of it as like a book, right? We could probably write a book, and every chapter is just filled with twists and turns. Some of the things that we do is focus on the emotional side of it. You would think that a business would be less emotional, because it's business, right? It's what you do. You look at the numbers, you make decisions, but in our line of work, it is very, very emotional. So what we try to do is we talk about it ahead of time. We try to be open and honest. We are the ones here that are bringing the questions to light. What do you see yourself doing every morning, right? When the business isn't there, when the phone's not ringing, when you don't have to pick up the mail, how does that look to you? What does it look like on that next day? And we really think that talking about those things ahead of time help prepare the seller for success afterwards, after the phone's not ringing anymore.
Because if the seller's identity is, 100% tied to that business, they're going to have a big surprise.
Yeah, it's almost
Hopefully
like
they
a
have
culture
something.
shock.
Exactly. And hopefully they have, after they spend some time with the new buyer, have some goals, trips or retirement planned or what, and maybe buying another business. Who knows?
That does happen, right? As entrepreneurs, we're kind of hardwired to run things and run a business, and it's kind of like, what's next?
Yeah. Where do you see the biggest opportunities in business brokerage world in 2026 and beyond?
So I think that Arizona is an amazing market, specifically Phoenix, right? The Phoenix market in business. We are growing like crazy. And so with people moving here every day, the demand for services and the buyers looking to acquire established businesses rather than starting from scratch, I think are going to be the biggest opportunities. Phoenix is still a very relationship-driven, service-based economy, and the businesses that are run well, they're systematized, they're prepared, and are going to continue to be in high demand over the next several years. I think that is where the opportunity is as we go into this next year.
I know. And I was trying to explain to some of them about just even those little mom and pop businesses. One day either they're going to be bought or sold, and there's so many everywhere. You drive down the street and they're just popping up everywhere.
One of the other things too is I guess you would call it maybe the value add, right? So if I own a particular business and I'm doing something all day, every day, what is another business that I can buy to add value to the business I already have?
Yeah.
We're seeing that quite often. So maybe a smaller HVAC company, they want to add in the plumbing sector, right? Maybe they don't do a lot of plumbing. So the best way, the fastest way to grow that business would be to buy an already existing plumbing company. You tuck it in, you add it on to what you're already doing, and therefore you're growing your business.
Right, right. And it comes with, you don't have to start it from scratch. Started from scratch can be a very complicated. What role does a good escrow company play in your transactions?
You know what? I feel like I'm so qualified to answer that question because we have a great one, right?
Thank you.
We look at escrow as an essential partner. So the structure, the organization, the accountability throughout the whole escrow, the whole transaction is where we find the best value in a really, really good escrow company. So when we would like to think that all of our deals are smooth and we follow the steps in order and everything's great, but things come up. So communication is super important. Having those deals move smoothly from one step to another and solving problems is where we see the role of a really, really good escrow company helping us achieve our goals.
Right. And I know at Arizona Escrow, I really push the communication. You have to communicate. And even if it's, responding to an email, just let them know you received it. Don't let it go, all day, because they're wondering, did I get that email? Should I find out if maybe it went to spam or something? Just let them know I received your email. Let's find out and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah, no, and communication method too, right? Nowadays, everybody communicates in different manners and it depends on what they've got going on during the day. So whether it's a phone call, text message, or email, there's so many different forms of communication and it's what works best for
yeah,
each person and it could be different.
exactly. What advice would you give someone who's just starting to think about selling their business but doesn't know exactly where to begin?
Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Don't wait to pick up the phone and start a conversation. Just because you call me or anybody else on my team doesn't mean we're going to stick a sign in your front window and sell your business tomorrow, right? That's not what we're doing. We need to have a conversation, so plan to be ready, plan to prepare. I feel like so many people get caught up in dealing with the day-to-day of the business, right? Where do my customers come in? How do I finish up my marketing? You just really need to kind of understand what your numbers are right now so that you have clarity when something does pop up, right? So you might be prepared to sell your business in 5 to 6 years, but if something pops up, I call them the 5 Ds, right? You got to be ready for those 5 Ds: death,
Yeah.
divorce, disagreement, disaster, disability, all of those things that might just pop out of nowhere. We want to be ready and have a plan. So start a conversation early to start to at least have the information to have a plan would be the number one piece of advice.
I think that's great advice. Jen, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can our listeners connect with you?
So we are all over social media. You can find Transworld Phoenix on your favorite social media application, Instagram, Facebook, just at Transworld Phoenix. So you can also find us on our website. It's just going to be tworld.com/Phoenix. We're your Phoenix office.
And to our listeners, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps us bring more practical insights into real-world leadership. Until next time, stay positive, stay practical, and keep leading with purpose.